Hi, my name is Eva Soderay, and I've created this. It's not going to be a quick video. I created this video to talk through my assignment that I am doing currently at Interior Architecture at Curtin University. It's a second year assignment. I'm studying it online. It's made up of two components, and one of the components is a project, a design project. So this is a studio unit, and this was the brief for the design of a co-working space in Ubud, Bali. And what we were provided with, it was just a series of photos of the original site that the client had bought. So this was to be a project where we designed the interiors of an existing site, like a refurb, but I decided to somewhat redesign the building as well. This area has got some beautiful views of Campuan Valley that you see over there, and it's very tropical. Bali is an island. It's a huge property, and it's got an existing pool that the client would eventually like to have refurbed. It used to be inhabited by an artist back in the days. And let's have a look at where this is actually located so there is Australia. This is Indonesia here. I should have just typed it in. This is Bali. It's a small island in Indonesia. And then you would come from the airport, and you would drive up. It's a short drive, about a 45 or an hour and a half, depending on traffic, and traffic's terrible. Ubud's in the middle here. Not so much the middle, but it's towards the mountains. And in Bali, it's really important where the location of the volcanoes are, because they're active. Let me go in here and show you guys. So that's Ubud, town of Ubud. Ubud's famous for its art scene, very cultural. Yeah, actually, probably a better way of showing you is, I got it prepared here, is type in Ubud. They've got a lot of monkeys. It's cute. This is Ubud, full of beautiful palaces. But let me take you, that's the Campion Ridge Walk. Let me take you where this would be located. Give you a bit of context. So there's these stairs here, Penestenan stairs. Put the little man there and show you what that would look like. So there's the entrance to the stairs. There's these beautiful big fig trees around on the street. There's an art gallery there. There's an old shop to be refurbed there. And our property is just here where my pointer is. And I'll just show a little bit of a context. It's really run down, but it's got this big retaining wall and steps. The property is obviously on a very sloping land, and the beautiful views are out that way. And that faces east. And it's got a series of shops, a shopping centre just up there. So it's very well located in the heart of Ubud. And that's what the existing property looks like from Google Maps. And you saw the pictures that they provided us. And so the next part of what I'm going to show you guys is the first part of the project, which was doing research on this. So let's see if I can get through this. You have to come up with a concept for a new building, and a concept is like the overarching idea that every little design decision will reflect. And the concept that I came up for this co-working space is flexible. So for the new Hubud, the concept flexible is all about adaptability, pliability, and versatility. Bamboo is deeply embedded in Hubud's identity, both physically and in its use as a building material, and metaphorically in its capacity to adapt to a changing environment successfully. I will later show you guys what the existing old building looks like. It's faded in the background here. The existing Hubud, the clients actually grew out of that, and they're wanting to expand to bigger areas. So you have to look at the site. You have to design very local, and that's the island of Bali that I just showed you, and Ubud and its location, and of course Mount Agung, which has erupted. And then I did a little research on, what's significant around, and this area has a lot of art galleries and beautiful palaces that you can see here, very rich in sculpture. And of course, that's where our site is, up here with the views of the Campuan Valley. We researched the existing building because it's important, and this is what that had in common. And then we do a little bit of research of how does weather work and the wind flow and the sun patterns and things like that. Gives us some opportunities on building around those factors. The property sits on a very busy road. So what you're looking at here is an acoustic plan, and all the traffic that comes by way of those mopeds and motorcycles. A lot of that in Bali, and they're very loud. They're like 110 decibels, which is really loud. Looked at the community and culture. This is a community project, and co-working spaces are basically where people work on their own. Like there might be a 1 or 2 person get up and go, but they want to work out of an office with other people around to get their headspace working. And Bali being such a tourist destination, the co-working space really works because people go there for a holiday and work. So it's like a working holiday. But let's have a look at what Bali has to offer. They're incredibly religious. Bali is made up of Hindu predominantly, and in Ubud there is rituals happening all the time and dedication towards it. So I did a bit of research on Balinese architectural principles, and there's 7 main principles, but only about 2 of them will be applied to this project. It's not really required for Westerners to apply this, but with respect to Balinese people, I wanted to have the building design on the outside at least fit in with the neighborhood and respect it. One of the things that is required is to have a shrine on every property, and so I considered where those shrines need to be placed, and ultimately this needs to be approved by a priest anyway. One of the principles that I considered was the trianga principle, which is all about head, body, and feet. So every building structure, everything has a bottom part, a middle part, and a top part. And for our building being mainly 3 floors, if you don't include the road level, the ground part would be the feet, the middle part would be the body, where the communal zones would be, and the top part, the head, could be the quiet zone, the thinking areas. The history about Ubud in terms of Westerners coming there is really about this guy named Walter Spears, who first came down there in the 20s, and then he created this art scene, and it still continues today. People are attracted there now with internet. There's a lot of people who are on working holidays. So I wanted to include some of that into the design. The typology and client consideration. So typology in architecture means what kind of a building type are you working with? You know, is it a cafe? Is it a residential property? Is it commercial? Well, in this case, it's a co-working space. So I researched that as a business model and what it would be. Client considerations is basically what has the client told you they need? And we had a laundry list of items provided to us in terms of, you know, they wanted an exercise area, they wanted collaborate spaces, they wanted a conference room, they wanted places to teach and do lectures and theatres and events because that's where their business comes from. This faded out image you see in the back here is actually the existing Ubud. It's been known as the bamboo office because it is predominantly made of bamboo. So here I do the typology study and I delved into what successful co-working spaces have. And most of these around the world are places that people work kind of semi-permanently out of or permanently out of. But in Ubud, which is the town, some of them work there for a long time, but a lot of them are there for a month or so. So it's kind of a holiday working space, and they have a very different vibe about the way they work. It's very casual. I did some research on what other places look like interior-wise. That's the focus of interior architecture, and I really like the idea of this flexible auditorium. Because of course my concept is flexible. It's a flexible lifestyle, flexible living, flexible everything, and this auditorium has these steps that have these pull-out drawers that have PowerPoints in there, so you could really work and hang out with people and just, you know, get your inspiration. I looked at what's, you know, the unique selling point of Hubud. Hubud being the name of Hub in Ubud, the name of this company, and they're really known. They're different. They're set apart from a lot of other co-working places, and that's important for the designer to acknowledge. Things like other co-working places are designed to look sleek and modern, while Hubud looks more like a bamboo holiday resort. And they have a very international crowd. People fly in from all around the world to be there. They don't dress formally. They're more of a casual dress place. In fact, you've got to take off your shoes in Bali culturally anyway, but in Hubud you would. That's just how you rock. You go in, Hawaiian shirt and shorts and no shoes. So that's how I came up with the concept. I took the site analysis, I took the community analysis, I took the co-working analysis, and I came up with this three-prong approach where that center point there represents it's got to be flexible. This is a very rough spatial plan that I created of how would I set out the different areas, and I took into consideration all of these ideas and tips from all the research that I did and where everything should be placed. And I did that for every floor. And in fact, I used these to then detail out all the all the interior things. And I worked heavily in SketchUp because I love working in 3D. So I used that as my reference starting point. I also did a bit of research on Balinese bamboo vernacular. And vernacular is like an architectural thing, like what's happening locally on the ground in the scene. And really love the bamboo building style. It's very organic. It's very strong now that they can protect it from bugs and rot and things like that. There is a lot of amazing designers that are working in bamboo throughout the world, and quite a lot in Bali. And there's a lot of local artisans that know how to work with this. And what you're looking at here are amazing structures that are just so perfect for the location and so beautiful to work in. And it really sets your mind in a different way of thinking when you're living and working out of such a different structure. So it's wonderful to work with that. I'm trying to create a bamboo-ish design. Obviously, it's got to function modernly as well, and for air conditioning and fanning and all those things. But so I'm going to have a merger between the two. It's going to be a flexible co-working space. This is a quick sketch I did on what I think it would look like, with those stairs and just everything rattan and bamboo and ulan. Ulan is a hardwood type that Hubud uses currently in their interiors. This is a sketch. I thought I would do it like this, having like this cafe pop out here where people could, there'd be like an auditorium where people could like perform and everyone looks upwards. That slightly changed in the design development, and I'll talk about that later. So that's really the flexible as the new Hubud would be according to my design idea for this assignment. There's a lot of references and things as part of this kind of project. So let's have a look at what that kind of ended up looking like. Here's my model. I'll just take a sip of tea. I'm getting all casual here. This is a top-down view, like a bird's eye view. I created a model that had some terrain. So this box around the outside is basically, I needed this property to sit in something because I'm designing it so local to the surrounds that I needed to know the terrain. The terrain is like the topography, like it's very undulating. So, there's like a hill here and like a valley here. And there's the Peniston stairs that I was talking about. I mean, it's very close to the property line. And I did draw in a couple of indicative other buildings, but I mean that's not what the focus of the assignment is. If we just focus in on the property boundaries themselves, this is the land that the new Hubud has purchased off. It was borrowed from the Crown, really. It's still under a royal system. And then I go through it quickly here. I'll just show SketchUp floor plans. I mean, these aren't official floor plans, they're kind of just design ones. So this would be this one back here was the ground, the roof. This would be like, what's on the ground level and the first level as you go up. I'm going to take a bit of a closer squiz at this because it's quite a big model. And my show here is going to be very chuggy. I've got this running live as I'm talking to you, and it's a 310 megabyte model. Down here is a reception area, and as you go up these stairs, this will be level 1, where I have lockers on this side and shoe storage here and some doors that go out to the cafe, and this is an amphitheater here. You'll see that better in 3D, and there'll be some stairs to go up to level 2, and there's a set of lifts here, and there's lifts on the ground floor as well. You'll see that in the mock-up that I'll show you later. And then as you move upstairs. I mean, it's a huge slab. So I've basically designed everything from the slab up. What you see here, I've got, as you come up these stairs, which go all the way to the second level, I've got a bit of an exercise deck out here. Come in, there's the toilets underneath. I mean, that's, really exciting. But I did think about disability and ambulance and all that sort of thing. So each of these doorways and everything is spaced apart to allow for a wheelchair access, which wasn't part of this particular assignment. But because Bali, there's a lot of people who drive those little moped scooter things. You do have a lot of people who have accidents, who aren't used to that kind of traffic and driving. So I took that into consideration. I did get a little shower, which is a universal access toilet tucked down back here. There is a shower here, because if you exercise, walk around, and maybe you might walk to the co-working space, you might want to shower before you work. But basically, there's like an auditorium here. There's the platform performance, so all the sound projects this way. I've got these dividers that are also sound capturing, and just spaces for people to work. Printer. There is a lounge room here. I'll show you that later. A collaborate space here. This is a balcony. Outdoor working spaces there. A couple of swing seats. Another little collaborate spot. A couple of booths to work in. This is the staff rooms tucked away back here. I've got a ping pong conference room in here. Another meeting room just there. A holiday style kitchen, communal kitchen, and like a table to eat from and collaborate, and some storerooms. When you go up to the next floor, of course, there's an open void above the auditorium. And as you come up the stairs, you kind of walk around. There's some more booths, a couple of hot seats facing the window, because there is great views towards that Campuan Valley. A couple more hot desks everywhere, really. People come there to work, right? And then you come through into these real private, quiet zones, and these are the offices that people would actually hire out and maybe run their businesses from here a little bit more on a permanent basis. So there's tables and chairs here with monitors and things that you can just plug in and go. I created some more open booths here, just a bit more quiet working spaces. And of course, these are the soundproof booth. So if you need to do like a Zoom meeting or a conference call and you really need it quiet, you tuck into here. There's some flexible tables there as well. And a yoga studio just up the corner here for meditation space. This is the north is this way. This is northeast corner, and in the Balinese architectural principles, this is the most sacred area. This faces Mount Agung, which is Balinese north. North is not north. North is where the volcano is. So that's the meditation space. Out here is another little area you can sit and read, and of course another balcony that looks down upon that amphitheater. You get a much better sense of it when I do it in 3D. That's the roof plan, creating that iconic roof that the client really wanted, and it's very biophilic to fit in with the terrain and this open amphitheater we've got going on. What I started with is the slab, really. And so I took everything down to what they had existing there, which was this. A lot of this is retaining back that big hill behind it. So you don't want to get rid of this. There's a lot of work that's already gone in this, and after all the earthquakes and volcanoes that have erupted, this has survived, but the building was quite run down and shabby. So I I created this parking area out the front, some bicycle spots, some, drop-off zones. The tree, I wanted to keep this one as a really nice big tree in the center there, but the other ones had to go for the parking reasons. And then we start just showing you guys how it happens. It does start out with a gatehouse. In Balinese culture, having like a gate really keeps out bad spirits. And I did it in a very Balinese style here, keeping the same Balinese roof pitch that they have, very typical. And of course, everything has a foot, a body, and a head. And the head would be this detailing that you'll see better when I go in there, this wood carving and bamboo door. And then we got this big retaining wall. I put a soundproof wall here that really holds back that very loud traffic noise as it travels up. And it's the level 1 details, and we go to level 2, and then finally level 3 at the top there. And that said, some people, little references there. And let's start that tour. Don't know how I'm going. I'll just have another sip of my tea. Mm. The thought process behind keeping this open is that, first of all, the back areas, which is phase 2 of the project, would be um, well, I can actually swing around and show you now. This is going to be very chuggy because, like I said, the model is huge. But back here, we're still yet to build the accommodation pods. So people can, co-live as well as co-work, and they come here for short holidays. And this area is kept very open because this is quite temporary. They want to put more shops here as phase 3 down the track, so then the parking would become much smaller. There's 50 bays allocated here for scooters only, not cars, because that's the predominant vehicle used in Bali. And for those wanting to ride up and down the hills, a couple of bays. And this is the standard sizing. For this kind of bay, you have to allow for a bollard and whatnot. But let's go through, and I hope I don't jump around too much and make you, give you vertigo. But down here, we're at this is, oh, I've gotten rid of my tools. Let me open that up and show my toolbars. And what do we need? The large tool set. I just had it there. Close. That way I can actually look around. Super. So you agreed by a Balinese man, and we want to use local talent to carve things. I mean, really, that's really environmental. There's so much talent in Bali with their arts and crafts, and Ubud specifically is just known for all of that. And we're greeted by this bamboo roof where the underside is thatched and the top is made out of bamboo shingles. A custom bamboo reception desk here. And this is really more like a gazebo entrance area, really to flow you between all the different areas, up those original stairs, or, pick up something that you've had delivered any time of day. Hubud operates 24/7, so you'd have like a key card and you come and go and work however you please. And then, for disability purposes or easy access, there's a lift there. And this takes you around and underneath the amphitheater deck, and more storage for furniture and things like that, so you can really get that done. So up here, sorry about the loading. I could have done this a little bit more flowy, but unfortunately I want all the details in there when I'm showing it to you. Let's go up the walkway to level 1. Now, level 1 ground was here before, and in keeping with the history of this building, which was occupied by Art Zoo artist Simmons. He's just recently passed away, actually, I think in 2000, and he had this real pop art style. He was a Westerner that lived there for like 30 years, so, local guy. But he did these kind of pieces, and this one's called Avatar. And I thought about blowing this up and creating it as a feature wall, because everything else is very much, from a texture materiality perspective, very much made of ulan and bamboo and very, organic material. So these bright pop pieces of art really fits in, and it fits into the locality because everything is very artistic and creative in this part of the world. So like I explained in the floor plans, over here you've got, whoops, getting stuck in the model. Over here you've got your lockers, and you can borrow these places. Sorry, you can hire. You can. Oh no! Don't use the hand tool, Eva. Over here you would have your. Okay. Take your, if it's been raining or something, it rains a lot in Bali, it's tropical. You take your coats off, put them in here, put your bag in here, and have like a day of work. And then, in keeping with Balinese tradition and in respect to every property having to have a shrine, I've put a Hindu shrine out here and an offering. And offerings happen several times a day. And I don't know if that is the type of shrine that would go here, and it would need to be approved by the priest, but that I found already existing in the SketchUp world. So that's not my design, but it wouldn't be in real life either. So let's take a walk back, because if you just came into the foot of the building, which is my level 1, you would take your shoes off. And that's what we're going to do virtually here. Whoops, went too far. You would design these little cubbies for your shoes, so that they get aerated. And a little seat here to take your shoes off before you either go to the cafe, or if you just arrived via lift, you would take your shoes off and you can keep going up if you need that access. Or like what we're going to do, we're going to go up these stairs. And so I've created this sort of bamboo forest type feeling as you go up as balustrading. And then this would be like made of ulan. I keep saying that word, just don't mind me. I'm going to navigate my way very clumsily up these stairs like if it was real. And then this is the communal collaborative zones. And here, as you arrive up the stairs, you'll be greeted by the communal living room that I showcased. And I was inspired by that real fun, festive feeling. This isn't my furniture design, wouldn't be in real life either, but the bendy sound absorbing feature walls behind it are, and we would hang these festoon lights and it'd be really quite nice and social around this area. And of course, when you're working in a co-working space, you want to be able to have those impromptu meetings and make friends and maybe business partners. So tucked away back here, we've got a collaborate zone, and these are standing tables or sitting tables. They move, and the chairs move up and down as well, like they're drafting chairs. And what's cool about this table design is that it's be able to put together like this, 120-degree kind of situation. You can pull them apart if you want to work separately, or chuck them together. And what I decided to do is, with COVID times that we're in right now, and right now it's 2021 now, but we have to think about these things. This would be interchangeable. So if you want to collaborate with someone, you can take these panels off, or you can leave kind of like a semi like this, so you can kind of work but kind of talk. Or I designed these taller ones that you could slip in here, which are absorbs more sound, but also you don't get spat on, so you need that little social distancing going on. This would be sliding doors that would go out onto that balcony, and there's some outdoor individual hot seats there if you wanted to work outside, indoor, outdoor. This is the back side of the lift as you would come up, and you could quickly access these areas or go the other way. I mean, it's really just an access point, but let's travel through, and I'll take us around as you arrive up here. Let me take you back there. What is in that back corner as you would arrive up the lift? Back here, if you came up the liftway, there's an open seating area with an artwork on the wall. Let's show that better here. And this is by a local artist as well. Hubud has beautiful art. And then this will take you out onto the second level balcony. So if there are events happening down in the amphitheater, you could just lounge out here in these swings, and from here, if you went down those stairs, you could go to the cafe. I mean, this is a great place to take a break and get your headspace right. And also back here on level 2 next to the lifts, if I swing around without catching vertigo, we've got a room for the staff, because that was important to the client. They said that they needed a bit of a staff room. I've got a wall paper there blown up as well. Cause this stuff is detailed, so you can blow it up and it's beautiful. Just artwork there. Maybe it could be painted for real. I mean, I don't know. I'm just sticking it there as an image of local Hubud artists. So let's go back onto this communal floor, and over here on my right you'll see these booths. I designed these to capture, there's a lot of height in this building, so I wanted to sort of create a little bit of intimacy for these booths, and they would have electrical points and whatnot in here and good lighting. But basically these panels is a fabric, but behind it would be bamboo fibers, which absorb sound very well. And sound absorption is very important in this space because, of course, the traffic is loud, and this is a very social space up here, so you want a little bit of capturing sound. But these are quite open. These ones are a little bit more closed, and these are called phone booths. And so, oh, look, my door swings are here. I could get rid of that. But let's see. Bear with me as I'm working live. I'm not going to be able to do it. We'll just have to leave the door springs there. I did this because I drew floor plans, and I did it from SketchUp Direct. I could have drawn it afterwards, but I did the cheats way and drew it in SketchUp on a different layer, but I've got the layer showing, so it's showing up in our walkthrough. These booths have these little tables if you wanted to like charge your phone and have a chat. It would hold back some noise. So this is the ping pong conference room that I was talking about. It has glass doors so you can see if it's occupied or not. This is a multifunctional flexible room. It's a conference room by nature in that you've got a conference table and whiteboard and paddles to play ping pong. But it's also a place that you could watch movies or do presentations or teach from here. So it's a good place for education. And then these sound absorbing curtains are created or put here so that you could totally black out the room to watch something screening, or move the chairs to the side and reinstate this, because this can be taken off and put back, and play a game of ping pong, a good breakout room. I created the legs of this to be curvy in sort of following on with all the arches that I've been doing for everything. Bamboo curves very well, so it's one of those things you possibly could do. These chairs aren't my design, and they're very heavy on polygons, so I shouldn't have used them. They're slowing down my model. Let me walk out here and get for the glass, and then show you what we got going on in the center of this level. We've got hot desks here facing east, and east is very important for sorry, just took another sip. It's very important for capturing that morning light that comes through, sunrise, and that's very important to the Balinese culture. But also amazing views of that Campuhan Valley, and so some people might want to just look at that. Every office needs a printer. We tucked it away in this little S area here. On the other side of that, and I'll get there in a minute, but on the other side, let's tuck over here, is like an open meeting room. So what do we got here? Let's go back so you know where we're at again. So we've got that that tucked away. So there's these sound barrier. There was those phone booths, and then another meeting room in here. So there's the conference room, and then there's a meeting room. Let's look around, and they've got a piece of artwork here as well in the room on the wall. On this side here, I created the kitchen, and it's kind of done in a really holiday. Oh my god! If you're watching this and you're like, "Oh my god, stop bouncing around," it's really making me sick. Here we go. We've got it's meant to feel like a resort. So I've got this, what are these called? Like a little canopy, these rattan lights everywhere. I designed these chairs, and they're kind of made of bamboo, and they're kind of higher booth chairs. And then this kitchen area, and a communal kitchen in an office or a co-working office would have to have a few microwaves, a couple of under fridges, and some dishwashers, and those sort of things would be important. There'd be like cups and drinks up there, and of course, the communal water cooler where everyone would have a chit chat. And then if here is a tall table, like a high table that you could eat at, or just bump into people whilst you're having a lunch or dinner or whatever, and you meet. But you could also use this as a place to collaborate. What I've tucked back here is a storage facility. I mean, every office needs one, so it's quite extensive back there. And here is that design that I borrowed from Paddington Works that I was showing you in my previous presentation, with those pull-out drawers that I like so much, and they would have electrical points in there. And as the presenter would be down here, we did this panel is curved this way and this way, so that it projects the sound upwards here, and of course capturing any other sound from traveling too far the other way. And so I've got these bean bags here. These are outdoor bean bags, indoor outdoor furniture. Wanted to create that indoor outdoor feel alive. This is a tropical environment. People are in holiday mode but also working mode, and somebody might enjoy hanging out with a laptop on that. Really casual. Oh god, stuck in the map again. Anyway, if we go behind then, this auditorium, it's called a flexible auditorium. On the other side here, as you would come up the stairs from level 2, I'll show you that in a sec. But up here is the toilets tucked away that I showed. So let's turn around. Come on. There we go. And, it'd be a feature bamboo wall here. Not much to see with toilets, but let's go back out here. Mm-hmm. And these doors would open up, might be kept open for ventilation purposes if the breeze is nice, because the breeze actually comes from this direction. And here's that Hindu shrine from a different view with the cascading plants and the lily pond, and this is the other steps that you could come up just on the inside of the wall. And I've got these little lights at the top here which match to the pitch of the roof style that I borrowed from the Balinese architectural styles, as this is the exterior. And this is a very rough terrain that I captured from in SketchUp, which is the program I'm using. You can import sort of topography, but it's very blurry, so it's not that great. Up here, if you wanted to do a little bit of exercise or just take a break, you could come and check out the view. And of course, there's those big trees that I showed you on Google here, which I didn't model out because I don't need the extra geometry to slow my model any further down. So I've got Laura here. She's the standard figurine that comes in SketchUp. It's at the height where you could look out but not fall out. So I've got a bit of an exercise area, an open air exercise area with outdoor exercise equipment that doesn't get weathered badly. A little bit of storage there for other equipment. Maybe you want to do outdoor yoga or weights or something that would be tucked away in there. And here you would have those big trees, and maybe you'd hear the Campuhan Valley people walking up and down. There's 106 steps here. You could do that exercise yourself, and it would be certainly a great way to take a break from working. But let's go back inside. Back inside the model, and I'll take another sip of my tea. I apologize. This might be going on a bit, and I really appreciate if you're still listening. I wanted to explain a lot of it, and I wasn't able to explain all of this for my assignment purposes because I only had 8 minutes to present this, so way less details in that. Up here, we're on level 3. This is the head of the building, and this is the quiet zone. This is where, as you come up, these are the steps on both sides. This is one way to access level 3. On the other side of the building is the lifts, of course. But up here, what's special about up here is that roof, and it goes extensively, and it's open all the way. And I'll show you more of that as we go around. And what else is nice here is you get even better views in those hot desks looking out at the Campuhan Valley. As you come up, you're greeted with more individual or 2 people booths for working, and another phone booth there. And we swing around, and these tables face east rather than that view, because if you're out this way, although it looks like there's a view there, but this is actually quite a lot of trees, which we can't cut because it's not ours, it's not our property. So you would actually want to be looking out this direction, because that's where the views are, and that's where all the action is down here as well. So these tables face this way. I allowed enough space to walk around. These are high chairs and tables as well for disability purposes, or just a little bit spacious. We have space to work with. Look at the height of these beams and poles, and it's a nice feeling to have when you're working somewhere where you don't feel too cramped. Some more booths here to capture the sound and to work from comfortable working spaces. And then we come up to the back side, or the north side of the upstairs quiet zones. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 individual offices that can be hired out, and they're all different sizes. And I'll just show you, like this one here, this is one of the larger ones. You would have like tables in here, like if you ran a small business and you just wanted to work out of Bali for a bit of time. This one has some nice views of that main tree that I like so much. But these tables and chairs aren't my design, that would be sourced. But the panels are. So these are open private booths, so the privacy with the circle and the openness because it's open back here. And back in this direction here, as you might have remembered from my plans that I showed, there was some recording booths, so you could do the Skype session or the conference call in these booths, which are spacious enough for you to go in. This table can swing up if you need the extra space, or you can have your computer a little bit further away to give you a bit of distance for the camera purposes. But these are really, really well sound absorbed, so total privacy and quiet in there. And on the other side, right behind the lifts, there's another room, and this room is the yoga and meditation zone, which up in northeast is Mount Agung, so there would be a volcano in the distance there. You could see, you could take a break. Ubud actually has a lot of nice yoga places, so to have an internal yoga place is a bit of a luxury, but if you just wanted a quick yoga session just to stretch your back or something, that's where you would head. And up here we have the famous work by Walter Spears, which is the guy I was talking to you about that really kicked off that art scene. And there's Laura again showing us to come outside to the balcony, and these balconies would have, if there was a performance or something, you could certainly look down and have a great view of what's going on down there. And then a view beyond, a bit more resort style, you could lounge around down there. The pool is behind there, and then those little accommodation pods would be part of phase 2, but they would be up there. Talking of cafes and things to do, actually let's do that. Let's go out here and fly around, not in a realistic way, but let me show you the pool. It's nice. Go for a swim. But back here you could work outside with your laptop, or you could, view whatever presentation was going on. And then there's a cafe down here. I don't know if I showed you this already. I've gone through this so many times now. I don't know if I've shown it or not. There's the stairs from level 2 down to... Oh, so this is level 1. That's level 2. So you come down the stairs. And this cafe could be also a bar if that was a need by the client. And oh my God, when I found these models of this patisserie set, and I was just hungry for it. So maybe I'm hungry for pastries now. But anyway, just to give you context, this is where you would take off your shoes and you would come up to the cafe if you wanted to hang out here. And down here is a deck amphitheater. And if we walk down here, you would have access to the pools. And if we spin around, you would have access to go out again. There might be another doorway here once they finish building the accommodation, just to not have people randomly walking off the street. But essentially, let me go back to the outside. Essentially, that's the design, and it's quite a big design. The teacher gave me feedback, said it was an epic design, but I didn't quite finish doing the floor plan drawings. I didn't mark them up, and that is really where I should have started, but I only did this in a space of 4 weeks, so what you're looking at is quite tight. And I loved every part of researching this and drawing this up in a model and working in the 3D. That's how I love to draw and design. And so I had a really good time making this, even though it was quite complex and there was a lot of things to do with it. It's a shame that the computer and the program are so chuggy. I could have done a much more smoother fly through for you. So thanks for watching, and that's where I'm going to finish up.